all the time. It's like, ooh, look, I just got up today. It's like, oh, I don't want it for a run. It's like one of those. It's like, but you got to do it. Bed is warm. We just gotta see. Sales is about preparation, right? So I was mentioned the other day. Sleeping is the key factor, because when you sleep the proper hours, then you're more effective, right? On the phones, on whatever. And but choosing the right occupation is critical at a certain age you are. Yeah, when you're in 20s, 30s, yeah, you can pull off, 20, 30 hours a day. And you're like, but once you pass in certain mark of age, you got to be more effective using leverage and understanding a lot of things. So it's time to get up, man. Let's go. That's right, fellas. So it's about 43 degrees. So it is. It's a little chilly here at the path. But the funny thing is about running at this time of the on a Wednesday, when it's nice and sunny, right? And it's like a 60 degree, 70 degree weather. You find thousands of people in here. So what it tells you, in sales is the same thing, right? Is there's anything that changed or something that it changed? It could be the economy and everything else. Oh, times are this and that. Doesn't mean absolutely fucking nothing. You know what I mean? The thing you gotta do is just keep moving forward. And when others tells you certain things, you just do the fucking opposite. Right? So nothing that has to do with your future, that has to do with your weather. But the weather changes and everything is, you eliminate almost 90% of the people. To do then the opposite of the people, you'll find out you eliminate more than half of your competition to do the opposite. He wants to run in a 43 degree weather, but it's nice though. I mean, I used to live in Northeast, so it is snow in the ground, it's 20 degrees and it's still dark. Who wants to run in those conditions, right? I did for a little bit, so that's why we moved to North Carolina, because, I don't like it. So let's, because this weekend, I gotta put my miles on, because this weekend, I'm gonna take a little business trip. We'll talk to you later about that. Yeah, the bed was warm today. Yeah, we look at it's about 43 degrees. A little chilly. Well, you know what? This had like paradise, runner's paradise, because it's not too hot. A little chilly, but you know what? In an amazing run, we're gonna do 6 miles today, and this weekend we're going to a business trip. But yeah, we're gonna see. I'm not gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna show you. So once you study yourself for more than 50 years, you start developing new skills, right? But also enjoy your life, but you're still working hard. Because I'm not done yet. I'm just getting started. I tell you, most people they are sat in the comfort zone. They're waking up right now, having a cup of coffee. They should have went to the gym, and not. That's why this path. During the week, usually when it's warm, there's a lot of people, but this is a little bit, you decrease the temperature and you eliminate 90% of the people. Great run, let me tell you. Feels good. Well, yeah, let me talk about the more exercise you run, the more you feel aligned with your vision. And it's not only what you think, it's what you think. Moving, I've been 5 years sober, moving to another state, start from zero contacts. I still don't know anybody, but this is the second. I've been 2 years today working remotely. I am more productive working remotely. I don't have to drive anywhere. But what I learned, it is motivating myself every day. I'm more productive. I've been, I'm 50 plus years of age. I've been studying myself for the past, more consistently for the past, 20 years. So I know what I can do. So when I was working at a call center a few years ago, it's like I hated, because then I had this chick, and then you still have the smells, and this chick behind you is too loud, and you supervise walking around. You really cannot concentrate in your calls. So when I'm in my office, in my home, I'm like, there's nobody there. I don't have kids. The kids I'm an empty nester, so the kids are on their own. I don't have any pets. I don't have to worry about absolute fucking nobody with my own production. Would allow me to concentrate more, put more emphasis on my health, right? And the most important thing is your head. And, I've been more productive. I just came for the run. We've been running this path for the past year. We used to live in another location. They used basically there was a path to run, and it was perfect too, but it's like a street. This is actually a trail. So, but not only gives you the ability to execute even more, gives you the ability to be more consistent, because you don't have to drive anywhere. You don't have to spend time doing something else. You just you just focus in what you're good at it. And this weekend we're gonna take a little business trip and / chilling. But that's a good thing about sales, because I told my wife yesterday, look, and she was like, "Are you running it again today?" So yeah, I ran it yesterday twice. But I told her, look, the more I run, the more money I make. So guess what? I'm going to continue to run even more, because the more run, I make more money. So you got to find that trigger that allows you, people choose the wrong occupations. My stepdaughter, works, is the fiance, he's starts selling cars now, right? So before he starts selling cars, they apply, they didn't, qualify for for a loan, right? Because it's just and finally he finally got it, and he's been doing real well selling cars. And I've been telling all of people, you want to make in this world, you got to learn how to sell cars, sell pest control door to door, or roofing systems, whatever the case might be. Go door to door. Sales will catapult you to the next level. And I went to sales a long time ago, because when I was working in jobs, it doesn't matter, you working the same amount of time and you still get paid the same, and you complain at John or this and that, and he said, man, these motherfuckers, they don't work and they get paid the same. So I started working in sales. See, the harder I work, the more money you make. So I gotta get more. I gotta go home, and I'll talk to you. You just continue this masterclass. When you're a salesman in the sales business, you ought to be. I have the perfect example that you are like real life, right? So they're just this rescue mission in Iran, these 2 pilots of that aircraft. So they have to pretty much mobilize and active, it's like urgency, like every second counts, right? For that mission. There's no, and they have a special teams that they can go deployed at any time and execute at any time, weather conditions, time zones, and they can just execute to perfection. And these guys have been training for decades, weapon systems, radar systems, terrain, right? They they work every single scenario, right? And to survive in those conditions, right? And that's why the Russians left Afghanistan, because this rugged terrain, there is, the altitude, it is, desert, you are going to encounter the heat. So they had to execute, and they rescued those 2 dudes, So you, as a salesman in a sales business, you ought to be like, every single day you wake up. I did my run this morning, and I'm about my 15-minute break, and I have another. I might actually go straight through until 6:00, but we got to do a lot of stuff in between, right? So there's like an everyday thing, like every day. Um, I do, like at the end of my day, I'm like, okay, what I did today? Okay, this number good. Okay, good. I feel good. And, okay, so this first couple of hours a day, now I gotta, do a little bit faster because, if you're not performing on a sense of urgency, like you guys ought to be more concerned with self development better than food. Like working from home, sometimes I just have a little peanuts, right? So when I'm on the phone, the peanuts, a little fruit, so I don't have time. Only tomorrow is Thursday, so I do a big run in the morning. So when I gotta eat. So I gotta be ready because I'm like, dude, I'm actually start earlier yesterday because I have a long day, and since we're gonna be running the weekend, I gotta put the miles today. So there's always something in the calendar. There's always something to be executed. I don't. We went to for a couple hours. For Eastern whatever. So we ate the small portion. These guys were eating like lamb and cheesecakes, and I'm like, I don't eat that. I'm just getting my little lasagna gluten free, which I hated because these guys are like gluten free and just hate that shit. But anyway, so I eat a little bit, and I just bye bye. We gotta get moving. So I don't have time to, like, the Masters is this weekend, so everybody is, I'm going to the Masters. They don't play golf, but they're on the Masters, right? They're like, instead of, like, to me, I don't go to those events. I don't portray on these events. I'm not. I'm in and when you are when you're passing 50, and you're like having a sense of bloody purpose, you're like, oh shit, you're like, delete. I'm not like, I don't have time for anything or anybody that doesn't have to do with my future, right? I'm like, I don't have time because we're in a hunt for certain things. We're gonna get a house real soon, so I'm like, I don't have time. I have, and there's the problem in America. It is most people are there working, and I see it because I live in the Carolina, so I see the type of. You drive 2 minutes from where I live, 5 minutes, and this like multi-million-dollar homes. You can tell, the people are probably are. If I literally drive 10 minutes, there's a huge golf course. Very high. I'm talking about, 10, $15 million homes. They're probably playing golf, people are retiring, maybe getting, expresses deliver, maybe they're going to the Masters, they don't have that hungry anymore, you can tell, right? Like, I look at this watch, it's a, $40 watch, right? It's, I have any other interest that buy me, a watch and everything. Even if I had the money, I will never spend $500,000 on a watch, right? And I don't check the news that much anymore. But the guy, one of the real estate moguls in California, they got his Rolls Royce got stolen. Hopefully he got a gap insurance. Obviously, those high incomes, I would assume you pay the extra money to get it stolen. But the only problem, these guys, they flash what they have, and they've all those houses and all this jewelry. That's why the Kardashians, they stopped doing what they doing, because when you start flashing all the stuff, what do you think you're doing? Now you're becoming a target. Now you're the target, because there's people in social media, and and especially with AI, they're like just targeting all these high income people. They show those high end cars, those custom cars that they worth millions of dollars, right? So that's why if you're a salesman, the biggest business it is if you're in the securities business, offer security and motion sensors, because there's so much thing to do. But I'm telling you, that's why even if I'm not, nobody's gonna steal a $60 watch, right? So I don't post, what I own. I don't post, there's two things when you're a salesman. Number two, never disclose your income, because it's not their business, and your next move. So you're constantly, imagine when they're like, these guys are gonna rescue these two airmen in Iran, and the Trump comes in and right supposedly, and okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna rescue these two guys, and this is exactly what we're gonna do. We're just gonna fly down the path, and we're gonna blah 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 blah. Oh, that, by the way, this guy is located right here, right there, and we're gonna it's gonna take us like maybe 10 minutes to rescue the guy, right? No, this is completely at the time this dude ejected that seat to that aircraft, they were like in motion. Boom, 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 boom. What do we have? CIA, Marines, and this is what we need. And the choppers these guys used, those are the choppers that they use by Army Rangers, because they're fast. They have a lot of weapons, and they're like fast. They can maneuver real fast. So there's just like a fast recovery and fast boom, boom, boom. And they're like, and they go like, boom, and they go boom, pick it, whatever they need to pick up, location, and boom, let's go. That's why the U.S. military, it is one of the best. That's why China, they're investing on their military, on their technology. I'm telling you, and there's gonna be probably a movie on Netflix about the the lone survivor, in Black Hawk Down. I mean, I'm telling you, the synchronization, my God. No, still, I was like, I gotta get. See, I'm watching. I gotta get. I don't have time. Right. So have a good afternoon. Go help somebody that can ever repay you. Hit the subscribe button, and I'm telling you, all these sales stories, all these things that I'm telling you that you need to do, it is what I'm doing, and I'm not just like talking. I'm gonna show you, right? I'm gonna show you, right? So have a great day, and go practice, and you don't have time. You don't have time to waste. There's no more time to waste. So this weekend, if you're not, doing some stuff like this weekend, we're going, and I'm going to show you later on what I'm going to tell you what I'm going. I'm going to show you, right? And you gotta reward yourself. You gotta work hard so you can play harder. So execute with precision. Don't tell anybody what you're doing next. Move with silence and just let your results show you. And that's why, when I showed up with everybody this weekend were bragging about their cars they bought and this and that. I was in the table. I don't care. I don't need to brag. The car. It's just not me, right? So when we pull out of the parking lot, hey, bye, and I pulled out and that nice SUV, sporty. Dude, I love it. And I see they were like meerkats. Because they thought, because I didn't show my, they thought, this guy, can never afford that kind of truck. Bro, it's not my business. It's not my business. It's not your business not to know my business, right? And that's what I don't care what they do. But when I saw my wife, you see their faces, they're like, oh my God. That's why the humans were like a bloody parasites. Yeah, they don't. Some people, they don't want to see you succeed. That's what I do my own thing, and I don't tell anybody what I'm doing. I just do it. So when I saw that, I was like, oh shit, whatever. Work on yourself. That's the most important investment. Work on yourself. Invest in yourself every single day. Let's go.